What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Talon Cup 2019. Our final day of action is upon us. We had some great games yesterday. If you missed them, go back and watch them, but it all comes to a head today. My name is Sam Phoenix, and I'm joined, as usual, by Paragon.
Hello, good morning everyone. I hope you had a good night's rest for our plethora of games today.
Yeah, so just to give you guys a bit of a orientation here, we will be doing all of our final games today. So that's both semi-finals, a third place match, and of course our grand finals. Starting now at 9 o'clock, running all the way through to 6 p.m. with games every hour, every 3 hours, sorry. So you can tune in all day and I'm sure you'll be able to find some good local Overwatch to watch. For our first match today, we have Team Poggi Woggi going up against Toxic Crocs. We saw both these teams yesterday. Paragon took us through a little bit.
Yeah, so on the side of Team Poggy Woggy, we have GM main tank Sully, who's definitely the highlight of that roster. We saw him yesterday leading the line very well from the front. And then on the side of Team Toxic Crocs, we saw a bit of the reverse. We saw that they had the key supports, Toxin Socks and Fluffy, leading the line from the back. So it's going to be interesting to see between the difference of where leadership is in the team as to how each team does.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Kind of opposite ends of the spectrum here, like you say, although it has to be said that they do have Blur in as a sub this morning, a pretty powerful sub, assuming he is on that main tank, which it looks like. I think he'll be on off tank,
Yeah,
actually.
so Obsidian Fury is a dedicated main tank player, so Blur most likely going to be filling in on the off tank slot. It is going to be interesting to see if that does make a difference, but I feel like Blur will probably let Tox, remain main shot caller in that team.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of maintaining synergy, he probably won't want to shake things up too much as a substitute.
Yeah, probably not. Something to notice was he does have existing synergy with Fluff and Tox as a former brief member of 2CP, and so I think that'll play in Toxic Crocs' favor as well. Just some notable players before we get started that aren't as well known. JRV26. Paragon and I were very impressed, I think, with his performance yesterday, and obviously Assassin JDB a standout as
Stupidity
well.
is not a
So
right.
players to keep an eye on as we come in here onto our first match on Village in Nepal. Teams running kind of different comps here. That's a good May wall from Not, and they do end up securing that kill. JRV getting his name on the kill feed first and foremost. Good team fight from Team Poggy Woggy. Means they'll close this first point out.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't get the full team wipe. Toxic Crocs does manage to pull back and reset, which is quite well played from them. That said, it was a battle of Maywalls there. Soul Leader unfortunately not getting a good Maywall off in time, and not getting a very clinched Maywall there. Getting 3 members of Toxic Crocs out, and unfortunately that's pretty much the fight over for them.
Pretty much. Coming back in here is Toxic Croc. Let's see if we can get a bit of Maywall. Oh, in from the back, Sally with a beautiful counter charge there onto Assassin whatever the 3 letters are. Really good job from him. Allows his team to secure that kill. That's a big shatter as well. A good 45 from Obsidian Fury keeps him standing, but it's not enough to protect his team from the might of Sally's hammer.
Yeah, and that is pretty much a team wipe. Assassin JDB just getting back now, but it's too late. His team is all dead. They're going to have to pull back for another reset here. Sully with a huge ultimate there. He knows when it comes to Orisa, you just got to push past the shield, slam that Q button, and you got yourself a fat Earth Shatter. Well played to him. He's also very, very good at countering the Doomfist punch with the charge. Incredible amount of skill there and reactions. Gets it most times.
A little bit of a different approach here for Toxic Crocs. Gonna drop down from the Talon. Assassin JDB getting very aggressive once again. This time, not punished for it just yet. And nice work from Not there, freezing Blur down, allowing Sally to get that pick up. And now it's all trouble here for Toxic Crocs. They're forced to go back to the drawing board here and try and figure out how they're gonna approach this again.
Yeah, so pretty much what happened there, again, is just Battle of the Maywalls. Not gets his Maywall up first, and they lose Blur very early in the fight. Soul Leader does get a good wall, isolates Sully a bit, but at that point they just don't have the raw damage to take him down. So they're going to have to look for a touch here now.
Last team fight here for Team Poggy
Uh-oh.
Woggy. Oh no, this may wall. Is that gonna spell doom for them? No. Looks like enough people got around the back here. Sound barrier out from Crocs and Socks. A good counter to the May ulti. Sully though finds his targets immediately straight on top of the supports in the back line there. And that pretty much spells doom. A perfectly, Blur himself, used the word yesterday, marshal. A perfectly marshaled fight from Not No Not there on the May to control the way that they could use that space and allow them to take that fight pretty cleanly.
Score.
Very, very clinical use of the Millwall there, I must agree. He's quick on it, quick on the draw, and incredibly precise with it as well. He's generally always getting at least 2 to 3 people isolated with it, which is absolutely massive. Because it just lets Sully press W mass 1. He just walks in, slaps them around a bit with a hammer, and pins them against the wall. So highly effective. We do see Soul Eater now switching off the Mail to the Reaper and Assassin JDB. Switching on to the Pharaoh, which he used to great effect yesterday. Let's see if he can build up an ult here on the same point before it even unlocks.
Tox is not playing Mercy here, so this is a naked Pharaoh. Okay, no, he's just beating them out of spawn. Fair enough. And just to see how they play this, not, he's still on the May here. And you kind of can understand why. They used it to such good effect, but on this map, not quite as good, not exactly bad, but not nearly as good. But that May wall's really good. Obsidian Fury doesn't realize he doesn't have the movement to move back here, and Sully punishes his opposite number very effectively there, and JRV finds the pick on Tox and Sock. But Sully swinging his hammer straight forward. Now they move back to point here, where Assassin JDB took a little bit of an off angle, but unfortunately not able to help his team secure that team fight.
Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a difference here that we saw yesterday from Assassin JDB is that the enemy team at the time they played against, they didn't ignore him. They gave him too much power. Well, as in this case, Team Poggi Woggi, they're like, man, we don't care about that Pharaoh. We're just going to barrel into the enemy team, slap them around, and then the Pharaoh can't really do much. So that's pretty much what happened here. Sully is being incredibly empowered by his team, and Team Toxic Crocs need to shut him down.
100%. Let's see if they can do that here. Coalescence comes out from Vertigo, a huge shadow. They're just running straight at them and demolishing them before they can even really respond. Team Toxic Crocs don't have what it takes at the moment to counter the aggression, the intelligent aggression from Team Poggi Woggi here.
Yeah, unfortunately there's just not enough damage going into that front line. There's nobody stopping Sully from just walking into them, especially with the Coalescence coming out from Vertigo. It just empowers Sully because he knows he's got a lot of healing and a lot of damage on his side. So he can just drop shield and walk forward. They need to put some more pressure onto him, so he has to hold that shield. And unfortunately the Pharaoh is just not doing enough of that right now.
100%. Pharaoh does have the rocket barrage now. Probably see him come around the side. You look for it. Here he goes. And Assassin JDB, a good rocket barrage, but no. Again, great support on top of Sully. They're preventing him from going down. He loses the shield, but the sound barrier far up means they're just going to go forward onto Toxic Crocs and just wipe them off the face of the earth. JRB with a good death blossom secures him another kill. It's not quite over yet. Toxic Crocs need to commit or leave, and at this point you gotta leave. Toxin sucks. I don't know how you managed to get through there, but yeah, unfortunately they need a reset and get in.
He gets the res on Obsidian, and I don't know how he and Obsidian got out of there, but they did, because I feel like that probably should have been punished, but oh well.
Probably. Oh, Fluffy having to get aggressive here. Jumping the gun a little bit there, I have to say. He had a good 4 or 5 seconds before he needed to get on. Tox on the right hand side. If your healers are doing this, they're not healing your team, and it's pretty much a losing strategy, although as I say that, Toxin Crocs finally getting themselves in the kill field. Toxin Socks, pistol out, putting 12 fools down. It's not quite over yet. Sully, the big main tank, large and in charge here on the point, but not good enough to execute on that one. How did they win that team fight?
The leader is the last to fall. So pretty much what happens there is Fluffy gets in behind, forces Team Poggi Woggi's attention around. That allows them to get in the front and maybe just split up Team Poggi Woggi a little bit. So their back line's looking back towards their spawn and their front line's looking towards the enemy spawn. So their attention is incredibly divided. What happens after that, Team Toxic Crocs gets in the back, kills the healers, and then Team Sully just can't.
Bit of a late read here from Team Toxic Crocs. Didn't quite realize where they're coming from, and now they're under pressure. But a good shot from Assassin JDB bails his team out a little bit. Here comes the Graviton Surge. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of follow-up here. Nobody's going down. HP not really dropping at this stage, and Toxic Crocs stabilizing nicely on this point here, buying themselves a good bit of percentage. They can't afford to lose any fights here. So far, so good for Toxic Crocs.
Yeah, very, very well played there from Obsidian Fury. He does well to counter Sully. And then they focus him down. They're doing exactly what I said they needed to do. They're putting pressure on Sully. They're making sure that he can't play the game that he wants. And they're just stopping him dead in his tracks at this point. So when the Graviton goes up, there's no Reinhardt Hammer in their Graviton. There's so much fear damage. There's no shock calling. So
yeah. Oh, I love Mango's dropping very low there on the way in. Assassin, JDB with that grab, that dragon, nowhere to be found. Sound barrier committed here. A good ulti from Obsidian Fury, matching Sully. Strength for strength here. Now dropping low. A good healing from Vertigo on Sully here. Gonna keep him alive. It looks pretty good. Another flux. Put in the damage. I don't know that Soul Eater needed to commit the Death Blossom there, but whatever. Gets the job done now before the final fight on this point.
Yeah, with only 10% left to go. Let's see if Team Poggi can get back in there. Sully's on the ball, which he showed us yesterday on Eichenwald. He can get there in the last second, and he can turn the fight around. Oh my god!
Perfect play from Sully, making the space for JLV to come in there unmolested with that Death Blossom. Now it's just a matter of cleanup.
We're seeing it again!
Of that initiation, and Sully, the main man with the big ball, making all the plays for his team here.
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how this keeps happening, but it does. And we see again Sully coming in with the last second clutch on the Wrecking Ball. Huge TP from JRV, followed up by a Death Blossom, just gets those few early picks, and then from there it's unparalleled chaos, and Team Poggi take the match.
Team Poggi so far looking the much better of these two teams for sure. That's it though, Team Toxic Crocs actually managing to bring a little bit of fire into that last round, especially was a 99-99 situation, and a perfect execution from Team Poggi was what was needed to bring that one back. So I think we're in for a pretty good series here, Paragon.
Yeah, no, definitely, for sure. I think I have to give a special mention to Vertigo. As we saw in the play of the game, she had some incredibly massive coalescences in that match, which really just enabled her team. She used it to let them get aggressive and push forward onto the enemy team, and less of a defensive ult, which I think is pretty good. Sometimes when you use Coalescence as a defensive ult, you're using it in already what could be a lost fight. Yeah. So I think the more aggressive route that she's taking with it is definitely enabling her team's playstyle a lot more.
Just to remind you guys of who these teams are and where they come from. Poggi was top of Group 1, pretty much undefeated. I actually think they were completely undefeated. Let me just check the standings. Yeah, 4-0 from Group 2. A really, really strong performance from Poggi. So they're coming in as the favorite here. It's showing, and we saw it in that match,
Yeah.
So exactly what they were good at. And we did watch them yesterday on a map like Eichenwald. This team is clutch as hell as well. So they know how to come back if they do happen to get behind. Toxic Crocs, second place in Group 1 with a 2-2 standing in a very close Group 1, it has to be said. 3 teams there on 2 points, but the better map differential. Toxic Crocs had the better map differential, and so they benefited from that and are here. So yeah, 2 different routes to the second day here, but both formidable teams.
Yeah, so the teams are just busy deciding on what map we'll go on to next. It looks like we're going to be going on to Watch Point Gibraltar. Could be interesting. Maybe we might see some more people whip out the Classic Dive. We have actually seen a bit of Classic Dive, in this tournament, which is surprising considering, how god-awful it is at the moment.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we saw a little bit. We've been seeing a lot of the, where Classic Dive is Winston Diva. We've been seeing a lot of Ball Dive, so Winston Ball.
Yeah,
I think we saw yesterday Oink and Yoink played, but at that stage they weren't really playing for much. So.
Yeah, but you never know. People are here to play for fun, so maybe we see them whip it out. Who knows? But more than likely, what's going to happen here, I'd imagine, for Team Poggi on Gibraltar is they're going to get into that car wash area below where the card has to come through. They're going to wait there with the Maywall, use it to clinical effect, exactly the same way they did now in Nepal, and they're going to just trap some people in there, and Sully's going to go in swinging.
Yeah, let's see. So team colors are still the same here. Poggi in the blue, Toxic Crocs in the red here. So it will be Poggi opening with the first defense here. What do you think we're going to see from Poggi on this defense?
So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to open up with the car wash at the bottom there. Use the main wall to great effect. They're just going to pretty much try and lure Team Toxic Crocs in there, split a few of them off, and just pretty much contest the cart down there. It is very difficult to deal with. Team Toxic Crocs are going to have to get creative. Maybe try and rotate around the back of them. Put some pressure in from both sides. And just build some ultimates, because really the only way you're going to clear out a cohesive team there that's running a Reinhardt is going to be with some ultimates. But that said, it looks like that they're actually going to be running double shield, no Mei, Reaper Ash, so they're probably not going to be running car wash.
Yeah,
they're probably going to be running on the high ground.
And I think it makes a lot of sense against this Bastion competition that it looks like it's coming from Toxic Crocs here.
Yeah, so I do think maybe the double shield could work out a lot better. I think that the car wash against the Bastion would work out too, because then he doesn't have a sideline to shoot on you, he's not burning your shields, and you just use the Mei wall. But I guess we'll see how it goes to these teams now.
Indeed, high ground set up here from Woggi. Let's see if they can dispel this Bastion before it gets set up. Shame, struggling to get set up here a little bit is so. Finally, it is robot butt on the point here.
It looks like Team Poggi has seen the Bastion. They've made the call. Okay, wait. We're gonna go in on this guy together.
Yeah, I like this decision here. From them. Oh, a great yoink. He controls the initiation there, and it looks like Obsidian Fury gonna be trying to help his team here, but it looks like actually Poggi coming out on top here. The better brawling comp is Poggi at the moment, and when they get up close and personal like that, it really benefits them.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a great yoink from Obsidian Fury, but they just didn't put enough pressure to get those 3 kills quick enough, because as that happened, Sully and 2 others, they dived from the back. This is Diverissa we're witnessing here.
Does look like that. They do manage to get a late kill on Isle of Mangoes here. That could be the onus they need to move on through here, but no.
Yeah, one less barrier to push through. It's gonna make life a whole lot easier for your Bastion.
Yeah, but I like the way they're sitting up here on Poggi, splitting up the angles. There is a lamp on point there, keeping the team alive. Very good lamp, both lamps down now. And Obsidian Fury lighting up the kill feed a little bit here. Isle of Mangoes gets a return on the Bastion. No way to bring him back into the fight, but so far, so good for Toxic Crocs here. Poggi not able to stand up to the might of their attack.
Yeah, the pick on I Love Mangoes there, absolutely vital. We see him get picked off late again here. That's going to be a problem. Blur getting very aggressive here, trying to control the space. They've now controlled all the way to the bridge leading into the ship. So that's going to be massive, and they're staggering them even more.
Yeah, this is Gibraltar spawns. There's nothing much you can do about this, unfortunately. JRV, I mean, yeah, he's not getting out of there. Might as well try and go forward and get some kills, and that's a lot of movement they've got on the card now for Toxic Crocs.
So the win condition here for Team Poggi is they need to get control of that cart, and it looks like we're hitting into a pause here.
Somebody DC'd, yeah.
But the key thing here for Team Poggi is they need to get control of that cart. Sully is making the call. Let's not switch comps. We've nearly got Bob. We've got Supercharger. We've nearly got Gravitic Flux, and I think the Gravitic Flux is going to be absolutely key to get that Bastion up in the air, get some damage into him, and just regain control of that cart. Because when they regain control of that cart, then they're pretty much forcing Team Toxic Crocs to switch off the Bastion, because to try and get him set up again is going to be difficult against Double Shield.
Yeah, very much so. Really unfortunate Vertigo forced to disconnect there. I believe she had about 57% ult charge, so going to be losing out a lot on that. But more importantly is the fact that she loses a position now. She has to come all the way from third spawn to get onto the front lines. I love Mangoes. Yeah, okay. We are jumping back in here. She has to come all the way from third spawn, and that's just going to mean they can't fight here. They might not actually be able to get a fight in on the second point here.
Yeah, it looks like they're probably gonna have to cede this point, and no.
Somebody coming in the turbocharger. Drop down. Managed to get in there pretty quickly with Vertigo. That lamp is doing so much work.
Gravitic Flux
comes in, a huge Gravitic Flux from I Love Mangoes here. Assassin, JDB, get some returns there, or at least on the bob, but it's not going to be nearly enough to push them through. Fluffy though, getting some return with the Coalescence here. Make that one, make that two. Fluffy putting the team on his back a little bit here. Can they get the last few staggered kills out? It's a 4v3 at the moment. 2 tanks and a support versus the world. Can they get it? Fluffy, make that 3. This team fight, not finally taking Obsidian Fury. The Flux comes in, but he's taken down before it goes off. And Poggi Woggi gonna hold firm here on second point.
Yeah, at the start of the fight, the Gravitic Flux coming out of I Love Mangoes is absolutely vital. Just finished off the enemy team. Sully popping down the bongo. Immediately, they panic. They force down the Immortality Field. It gets burned just in time for the Gravitic Flux to get some very great value there. And good job from Team Poggi Woggi. Like I said, they just rolled over the point with ults. They've gained control of the cart now, and it's all the way at the end. So Soul Leader's still in that bastion, but it's going to be really difficult for him to get back. They're going to try and set him up on a high ground probably and just get him to rain down on them. But the thing is,
it's okay on this point.
Yeah.
At the best.
Without the threat of you know.
Oh no! Sorry, Paragon. Soul Leader completely isolated there with the yoink from Sully there, pulling him off away from his team, and now taken down. And it's just gonna have to be a reset here for Crocs and Crocs.
That said, they are aggressing here into Sully and Shadows. But JRV staggering Blur, staggering Obsidian.
One tank, 2 tank,
That's
easy kill for the
massive stagger. That's gonna cost them another stagger. This is costing them so much time, but we're seeing it on the side of both teams. They need to be a lot more clinical. When a fight is lost, you need to just go in, get on cart, die, do whatever. But just don't try and waste time. Don't look for things that aren't there.
Yeah, unfortunate for them, and they'll have to try and make something happen as accretions.
Yeah. Soul Leader's still on that bastion.
He's probably going to try and build the ulti and use it here, but I think I agree with the sentiment. Don't know that it's going to work that well here. Oh, JRV!
Immortality Field saving the day.
Saving his whole team, keeping them in fighting shape. A good anti-heal here from Fluffy. Good spell there too, or rather from Shadows. And now the Bob goes in. It gets deleted before it even ends its little run. Oh, not pulled in, but a good use of the coach gun keeps him safe here. But the way they're positioned all over the place here, Poggi Woggi gonna struggle to hold this one through as JRV and co come barreling through, or rather Toxic Crocs and co come barreling through. JRV, no hope for this world, even with the nano boost here. 1v1 on the high ground. Tox versus not, but Mangoes is the only one contesting Fortress. Sully isn't on the ball, okay. Let's see if we can see more Sully magic here. Contesting, making space for his team, but no. Looks like he's not long for this world. Taken down, and Toxic Crocs take the second point here.
So going into the start of that fight, you're looking at it, you're seeing the Supercharger Death Blossom from JRV who just gets staggered. But you're looking at that and you're thinking, okay, cool, Team Poggi Woggi take that fight. But an absolutely phenomenal Immortality Field from Tox and Socks saves that fight. He puts it behind natural cover so that Team Poggi Woggi can't melt it down. It's just JRV there, so he gets easily focused down by the Bastion.
Not here, Paragon on the Sombra again. There we go. Gets the hack in on Soul Eater, but they have the follow-up. JRV now on his own Bastion. Gets the kill on Assassin JDE. Flux in. Good Immortality Field from Tox and Socks there, keeping his team fairly healthy. Flux going the other way now. Oh my god, so much damage. Vertigo taken down. Soul Eater cleans up the kill on JRV, and the War Machine marches on here as far as Toxic Crocs is concerned. Sully in the background here. He needs to get towards his team and make something happen. I don't know that this ball is working. A huge anti-heal. Shadows. Oh my lord, but not enough follow-up here. He doesn't have the teammates alive. A perfect ulti from Assassin JDB. The Dragons going straight through the enemy spawn, putting them under so much pressure. I Love Mangoes out on the hog now. Gonna make something happen. Try and make something happen with Sully in tow, but it doesn't look they've got enough time here. They don't have enough steam to keep themselves alive. Shadows Z keeping Sully fairly healthy, and now not on the point. Not. You can't contest when you're not visible anymore, and lets the point go through there.
Yeah, so a little bit of a crumble there from Team Poggi Woggi towards the end. They just started really underestimating Team Toxic Crocs, like we saw with the Supercharger and the Death Blossom combo. They just underestimated Tox. They know the enemy team has a Baptiste. They know that the Baptiste every single time on the Death Blossom, the Baptiste is going to throw down the immortality field, and they just didn't respect that enough. And unfortunately, they got super aggressive with that combo, and it cost them that second point. And from that point, there was just a lot of staggering going on. Allowed Toxic Crocs to just creep forward ever so slowly. Sully's still on the Wrecking Ball, so they didn't really have a suitable anchor point at that point between the second and the third point. So Team Toxic Crocs get it all the way through, and they've got 1 minute and 13 seconds in the bank.
Yeah, 100%. So, are we going to see more Bastion here out of either one of these teams? It doesn't look like either team's going to be running it, choosing to go for straight up meta composition here. Sully, looks like they're coming out on the ball. Interesting decision. Why do you think Sully wants to run this ball at this point?
That is a very good question, and I wish I had the answer for you. I can't quite tell what he's thinking here. It looks like Toxic Crocs are going to run the standard double shield on defense. They're not going to run a Bastion, but I think they are going to do the car wash strat that I mentioned earlier with the Reaper, and I think
Maybe.
I think Sully might be expecting that, so I think he maybe wants to disrupt them a bit with the ball, but even with the ball, you know, this is just a very difficult comp to break, and I think Sully's gonna want to maybe switch it to Reinhardt or something.
I think what he wants to do actually is pull the attention away from the card. With the bunker on the card. Okay, yeah, they're switching the composition.
Yeah.
I think they've seen what they're doing now and they've decided to make it.
Yeah, even on the Wrecking Ball, you're not going to be pulling too much attention away, because as long as the enemy team is disciplined enough to stay down there as a group, the ball's not going to be able to do very much in that limited ceiling space.
Good call from them, I think, and also switching the Bastion on, gonna try and split their attention a bit with the Pharah probably coming on the back. They do move forward here.
Huge
A good wall from not cutting off half the team, but I don't think there's enough space here for them to get any kills. Lamp is now down for Poggi Woggi here. JRV does the same for Toxic Crocs. Sully needs to be careful here. Assassin JDB gets right on top of him. It takes him down. Oh no, this May wall could be covering his team. Okay, fight is pretty even for now. You see in the background here, JRB on that Pharah, pumping in a ton of damage. He's going to be closing in on his ulti very soon, and once he's got that, it becomes very difficult for Toxic Crocs in this closed environment. Soul Eater going to have to come up big with that wall to protect his team, and so far so good though. They're burning a lot of time here. It has to be
freeze
on Toxic Crocs. The freeze coming through. The lamp goes down. This is JRB's opportunity. Now that it's covered, he is going in here. A big barrage right in front with the wall. Not quite enough, and he finally gets a few kills on the back end here. Finally, Poggi Woggi going to be following up here, moving into this little hole and killing everybody on Toxic Crocs.
Yeah, as I mentioned, as we see the last few kills here, you just gotta pretty much take this slow when the enemy team's holding car wash, build up your ultimates, and then you clean them with ultimates. So for the defensive team, it's a good way to kind of stall them out and let them build ultimates, but it's a short walk from the car wash to the point, so they're gonna have to rush in here to get a contest.
Yeah, they did burn 2 minutes, so something to be said for that. As Assassin, JDB does his best McCree impression as he takes down JRB on the Pharah. Oh, nice play from Sully rather here, recognizing that they're going to have some unfavorable spawns and getting very aggressive here in order to cut them off. Assassin, JDB trying to make a play in the background, but a good immortality field once again, like you mentioned, from Vertigo, means Poggi Woggi able to aggress here with no issues.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just fell a little bit apart there after that Gravitic Flux. I think Assassin wanted to maybe switch to McCree, so he thought, okay, I'm just going to see what value I can get out of this Death Blossom. He also could have just tried to hold it for when his team was together so he could actually get some value out of it.
Yeah, 100%. Amplificating Matrix coming out here from Toxic Socks, going to provide some extra damage for his team, but his lamp is taken down, but Blur did manage to find the kill. Oh, this is a big May ult, a huge May ult, nowhere to go. A follow-up from JLB once again, Mr. Reliable with the barrage, and a beautiful wombo combo punishes Toxic Crocs' insolence there.
Absolute carnage. We see once again, we saw it from the first match where we watched Not, he's so good at placing those blizzards. It's actually ridiculous how he sneaks them into these positions where the enemy team just thinks, okay, it's gonna be a bit in front of me, and then they realize, oh no, it's behind me, I am frozen.
Yeah, and the way it's angled, they've got no direction to move in. It's either blocked or too far away. A nice halt there, comboed with Sully's accretion here. Good opposite number. JRB takes down his counter in the form of Assassin JDB's McCree, and it looks like so far so good for Team Poggi Woggi as they march forward here towards third point. Fight's not over yet though. JRB needs to be careful here not to feed his life away. Gets the kill on Fluffy. Now looking towards Soul Eater with
What's
two
going
beautiful
on here?
direct hits. On the point though, no progress being made. Blur throws him down. Finally taken down. Assassin JDB on that McCree, trying to put the damage in, but not able to find an angle. Sitting Fury all by himself. I don't know what he's doing out here. I would have liked to have seen him be a little bit more patient and wait for his team, but he chooses to go forward here. Creation, point blank range onto Assassin JDB, taking him down. Soul Eater now win with his ulti, but there's nobody there to follow up. Toxin Socks not able to make the same kind of plays he made on King's Row here on that Lucio, but a good ulti from Blur. That Acrobatic Flux buying so much damage for Toxic Crocs. Are they going to be able to come back in here? Remember, they've got a serious border advantage. And Assassin JDB managed to build his ulti up here. The Deadeye coming in clutch here, and it looks like Toxic Crocs are pushing them back.
Yeah, they have got control of the cart now, but it is important to note, Not is coming up on that Blizzard again very soon. Only 17 more percent. Jarvie has the barrage. They're probably going to hold it for another big combo. I love mangoes as well. Nearly on the supercharger, so if you look at the side of Toxic Crocs, they've only got the coalescence going into this next fight, so they're going to struggle a little bit.
Assassin JDB on the high ground. They're trying to buy some space. They're using height to his advantage to pump the damage, and so far not able to find anything. Neither team, in fact, finding much purchase here. And here comes the ultimate. Oh, not. It looks good, but not quite as good as the previous one. They managed to get back all the space in the world for JRV to find the angle. You don't have to hit everybody with it, but it corrals them into a position where JRV can punish them perfectly. That's round 2 complete.
Yeah, and with a nice minute and 20-second advantage there, and Poggi gonna feel confident. They're gonna want to hold this defense. I think they're gonna be anticipating the Bastion, but let's see whether Team Toxic Crocs decide to run it again.
Do you think they're scared of it, the Bastion?
Toxic Crocs?
Poggi Woggi, because Toxic Crocs is the one.
I don't think they're scared of it, no. I think the problem they had in their original defense is not being afraid of the Bastion. I think the problem they had was just a bit of team cohesion and communication problems. So I think if they can nail that down, you know, and just respect the enemy team, I think it's the opposite of fear. I think they just did not respect the Bastion. They did not respect the immortality field, and they got punished for that. That said, they are whipping up their own Bastion here on JRV 26.
On defense this time, it looks like it's going to be a Bastion v Bastion, but again, not. He's the only player in this tournament who's been picking that Sombra, favoring it pretty hard, and we can't really argue with the results.
Yeah, he likes to get into those sneaky positions. It's almost like the same way he gets his May Blizzards into sneaky positions. He, you know, finds these little angles and gets in behind. He'll probably be expecting the Bastion here, landing a hack on it, and then it's just space for Team Poggi Woggi to push in here.
Stop the payload.
Coming forward here, gonna get set up on the cart here. Both teams. Problem is on the defense, it's much easier. You start shooting a lot earlier. Good man.
Oh, big sleep.
Not taken down. They gotta punish those kinds of things. That was a gift there from Fluffy, and they need to take advantage of it, but not able to, unfortunately. I presume that's Vertigo disconnecting again.
Yeah, we do see that Assassin JDB does actually manage to go find not and pick him up. So Team Poggi Woggi are a man down, and it looks like another man down with the disconnected Vertigo. That's a big loss. They're going to need to pull back here, get back into spawn, and get their team together. Unfortunate, but it looks like either way, they were kind of relying on the Sombra hack to go off in the Bastion, and then they could push in. But unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition, so I feel like they would have to pull back anyway.
Yeah, very unfortunate here. I see Seraphim is back online, so I wonder if he'll sub back in for Vertigo for the third map here. Just a reminder, guys, this is a best of 3. Sorry, a best of 5, so it's a first to 3 series, unlike yesterday's 4-map series. So if they lose here, they're on match point. Both teams are. So Toxic Crocs gonna want to even things up here.
Bastion v Bastion. Oh, Soul Eater gets yanked off. He's not set up.
I like that wall, actually, the vertical wall. He has to shoot through every chunk here. A Lamp goes aggressively down here, not really covering his team, but JRV uses that space to find the kill on Obsidian Fury. No shield up for them, Lamp down as well. Gonna be a difficult push in here for Toxic Crocs as they lose more and more players. Soul Eater, he's not gonna be able to just stand there and tank everyone's damage, and no, make sure of that by hacking him and pulling him out of that turret fall. 6 seconds left on the clock here. Will anybody touch? Unfortunately, Sully not on the team that needs to touch. Toxic Socks gets on there with the amplification matrix, buys himself the space to kill JRB. Can they actually do this now? Players coming back in here. Genji in here for Assassin JDB. Is that the right call? That remains to be seen. He's focusing Vertigo. I think he needs to hit Shadows, but do they have the damage here? The nano boost on Orisa. Obsidian Fury, they're putting in the damage, but now Sully back in. The EMP is going to spell doom for them, I think, here. No open hell. There is Blur back in on the ball, but it's a single ball versus the world, and you're not going to get very far that way. Toxin Socks again on the Lucio, but he's not long for this world as Poggi Woggi hold him here before first point.
Very good recovery over there from Team Poggi Woggi, losing 2 people at the start of the match, but still managing to come back in there and retake point. Huge work from JRV on the Bastion. He gets in there, gets set up, and he doesn't move. He sits there, and his team keeps him alive, which is key. I think the mistake that Team Toxic Crocs did there, Soul Leader tries to reposition on the Bastion. He's not putting down enough damage. He's not burning those shields. It's absolutely vital if you're running Bastion v Bastion. You need to be the first Bastion to get set up, and you need to start laying out the damage, and just don't stop. If you die, it's your team's fault. Don't panic.
Yeah, 100%. So, do you think we're going to see this same type of defense we saw the first time from Toxic Crocs in the hole there? The composition suggests no, but do you think there was strength in that, or should they look towards
Look, I think they've got to hold it very deep. So I think to wait and let the enemy team push all the way to underneath the car wash, like just to give them that free push, is probably not a good idea. So they're gonna hold here on the high ground, you know, with the Bastion, try and keep them underneath the main bridge here, outside in the courtyard. If they can manage to do that, and then if they lose the fight, then at least they've got a whole lot more space. So the whole concept here is that they want to get Team Poggi Woggi to pay as much as possible for every inch that they move that payload, and I agree with that decision. I think that is definitely the best idea they could do here with 2 minutes and 30 on the clock.
Yep, Pharmacy and the Sombra, good anti-heal on both tanks there, but not really much by way of damage follow-up. JRV will be taking a different angle, a good boop, but he doesn't find anyone there, off on the high ground, so you're gonna have to just push in patiently here. JRB finds the kill on Assassin JDB. That's a bad start for Toxic Crocs here. Losing that Sombra early puts him on the back foot. Speaking of the back foot, Obsidian Fury. No, you poor boy. He gets pooped down onto the low ground. Is he going to actually just run out of here? Really? Okay. Just leaves like nothing ever happened. Good lucky work from them, but they're playing so aggressive here. Oh, Poggi Woggi. This card is marching on. 2 minutes left on the clock here. Means that Toxic Crocs are going to have to win a couple of engagements here. Starting with this first one. The Sombra on the high ground gets the hack onto the Bastion. They're struggling here. Toxic Crocs are now set up in a good position. They're not so covered from, a little bit covered from that high ground, and they can finally put the damage in. There's a lamp down for Toxic Crocs. I don't know that I agree with this, and this amplification matrix could make all the difference as it helps them bash the shield down. Get on top of the Bastion. Speaking of which, the hack in the background, not making such a huge difference on that Sombra, putting Toxic Crocs under so much pressure, and now the res on Vertigo, bringing them back up to health. Team Poggi Woggi sitting pretty here. Another lamp goes down, but it's not really the call suddenly kills both directions. Suddenly an explosion of action here, but it looks like Toxic Crocs coming out on top with a minute left on the clock for Poggi Woggi.
Toxic Crocs actually doing a very good defense here. They're not committing all their resources into a fight. They're not going in and just all dying. They're pulling back perfectly. We saw Obsidian get yoinked down. He pops Fortify immediately, just turns around, walks away. He doesn't try and shoot or get anything out of the fight. He knows he's in a ship position. He moves away, and he gets back and protects his team. And that's ultimately what keeps Team Toxic Crocs in the fight. Not doing a lot of work on the Sombra over there to make sure that Soul Eater's getting less value, but it's just not enough yet.
I think we're about to see not farm his EMP and use that to win the fight, but Sully going down early like that is a problem. The Gravitic Flux as well, making a ton of space, doing a ton of damage here as Assassin JDB finds Shadows, not enough going down. He has that EMP in the bank, but I don't know that he's going to have enough time to get back in here.
We're going to see another Sully Ball trick here. It looks like he's
I
coming
honestly
in.
think we could. I think they could win this with the EMP barrage. I think Poggi Woggi are actually in control of this.
Sully, don't get yoinked.
Sully
on
going
it.
in here. Minute left on the clock. He's touching point now. Gonna be waiting in EMP. Not. That's the key here. Here it comes. Uses the EMP. Covers a lot with that, but no. Toxic Crocs. They have enough.
Oh!
ADB with the Death Blossom, and by Death Blossom I mean Deadeye. Toxic Crocs gonna equalize proceedings here.
Absolutely outrageous. Well played, Team Toxic Crocs. That was a great defense. You guys should be incredibly proud of yourselves.
3 minutes on the clock, I believe, there that they held for. Perfect play.
Yeah.
We saw JRV with a perfect follow-up barrage here to this, and you can see the May ulti didn't hit many people, but it forced them all to move together into a place where JRV could just eat them up.
Yeah, absolute outrageous scenes here. Sully does get the touch in, but unfortunately this time he can't make the magic happen. Assassin JDB pulling out the Deadeye, getting the 3k, absolutely just shut it down. Nobody could reach the card in time after that, and yeah. Just a really good defense from Team Toxic Crocs there. I can't put enough emphasis on how well they defended that. When you consider that, you know, Team Poggi Woggi put a lot of pressure on them, you know, pulling the tank off the high ground. Soul Leader doing a lot of good work there on the Bastion.
My net just dropped.
Unlucky.
Or at least my Blizzard kicked me out of the game.
Unlucky.
So I don't know who owns the lobby now.
It would still be you. You're
Still me. I'm not in the lobby anymore.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break while we sort this out. We will be right back.
Oh no, I'm still in the... Okay. Cool.
And we are now back. Sorry about that. We do apologize, but unfortunately, did have some technical difficulties there. That said, we are back. Seraphim is back, representing the side of Team Poggi Woggi on support, filling back in for Vertigo, the substitute. So it's going to be interesting to see how that changes things. Seraphim and Vertigo, I'd like to say they have a very similar playstyle on Heroes like the Mora. Seraphim really liking to use that Coalescence to aggressive effect to enable his team as well. So, you know, I feel like they are very similar players, so I don't feel like it's going to make too much of a difference. But we are moving now onto Hanamura, so we will see who can get the better defense up, get the most time in the bank, and yeah.
One difference between Sarah and Vertigo, I think, is their calling ability. I don't know how much Vertigo calls, but obviously you and I know firsthand Sarah pretty good calling when he's on song. So that might be the difference maker for Team Poggi Woggi. We saw them falling apart a little bit, losing a bit of their discipline towards the end of their third point defense. So I wonder if those are the kind of small things that might end up making a difference.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out.
Yes, I'm just waiting for one of these teams to tell me if they want to attack or defend. But yeah, we will be heading into Hanamura next. Who do you think is better on this map here?
That is a tough question. We just saw a very evenly matched Gibraltar, very well held from Team Toxic Crocs. So I think we're going to be probably seeing more Bastion here, you know, Bastion on the point. So it's a difficult one to call. I think Poggi Woggi have the advantage when it comes to aggressive assaults. So I feel like if they can maybe get a Symmetra, you know, teleport onto the point and just do some real damage, then they definitely stand a chance.
I want to say we saw them run Symmetra yesterday, right? Against Oink and Yoink. I think it was not who played the first Orisa. I mean, Symmetra.
Yeah, so we do know Not does like to use that Symmetra as well. So we may be seeing that from him here.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see something interesting. You think we're going to see more of that Bastion defense?
Yeah, so I think it's possible, although it does look like Poggi Woggi doesn't like to use the Bastion that much. We might just see some normal Mei Reaper. But I think the Mei Bastion probably could work out really well here. Obviously, just put the Mei wall down in the choke. Give your Bastion some room to operate.
Ready for
JRV picking out the Mei. Not undecided as yet. So maybe he runs Symmetra on defense. We do see Obsidian Fury picking up the Reinhardt. So
Yeah, not going to be running that Ash. We saw him use it to really good
Attackers
effect
incoming
against
in
Oink and Yoink
30
yesterday. On second point especially, controlling the high ground and using the dynamites to really good effect.
Let's get patched up.
yeah, so if you can build up that bomb quick enough, it can definitely be used as a you know, a big basically wrecking ball for a few moments. Just disrupt the enemy team, create a unavoidable source of damage. So it looks like the Team Toxic Crocs, they are going to be running the Ryan Zarya here. They're going to be wanting to run in, get aggressive, get in people's faces, and be cohesive as a unit.
I think the Junkrat as well here. This is not tempo, it doesn't work nearly as well, but it could still be a powerful pick here. A good yoink, a really nice yoink there from Sully. Gonna be keeping them back for now. They're gonna have to recharge their shields and cooldowns. Won't be able to just barrel in like they want to. There we go. Another yoink to put the damage on the shields, and this is really good, intelligent main tank play here from Sully. He knows exactly the win condition of Toxic Crocs here, and he's using his knowledge of the matchup to control them and prevent them from coming in. They do finally come in, and a great wall prevents Obsidian Fury from getting the damage on top of his team. Obsidian Fury needs to be careful here. That accretion putting him down, but Blur finds the first kill on JRB, finding himself a little bit out of position there. Now on the point is Toxic Crocs finally making some inroads here, and they're putting in all the damage, getting all the kids all red in the kill feed here as Obsidian Fury and the rest of Toxic Crocs. Wow, I didn't realize how close that was to disaster, that name. The rest of Toxic Crocs barreling onto the point.
Yeah, so really good assault here from Team Toxic Crocs. They just push in, they completely ignore not the Ash. He does build a Bob, but unfortunately it's only going to be here for the second point, so he might want to just use that to switch as they look to just barrel in again and just smash some faces.
Yeah, speaking of which now, barreling directly towards the center mass of Poggi Woggi, who pulled back rather intelligently. Sully managed to build up his... Oh, that's a big yoink! Oh, but he pulls the shield as well, so doesn't get quite the value he was hoping for, I think. You need to be careful here. I like this play from Toxic Crocs. Just gonna wait out the bongo. Don't get too aggressive while it's up. A good yoink, but a good shield from Blur there keeps everybody in fighting shape. Now, what are Toxic Crocs gonna do here? Okay, they choose to go down on the right side here and move towards Mangoes. Mangoes wasn't expecting that. He's a little bit out of position, but not taken down. Sully finds Mangoes again, but a good... Sorry, Obsidian finds Mango again and does end up getting that charge kill. He's dropping low though, but a good sound barrier keeps his team in fighting shape here. Toxic Crocs bailing his team out a little bit here, but it looks like they've got more than enough might at this stage to take Poggi Woggi's second point.
Absolutely outrageous assault here from Team Toxic Crocs.
Oh, JRB though, gonna be touching. Sully, we've seen this before. Flux now in on the supports. Toxic Crocs, yeah, Toxic Crocs does go down. They're gonna have to keep touching here. Now they've lost a lot of their power. This looks like a retake here from Poggi Woggi. A really nice stalled defense here. It's gonna secure them this point defense.
Yeah, expertly well played from Team Poggi Woggi. They neither were down, but they weren't out. They came back in, pushed the enemy team off the point, and they've just taken Blur down. With the spawn advantage, the kill onto Seraphim's not going to matter too much. And it looks like Team Toxic Crocs, they're just going to have to pull back here and wait for the reset.
Now going into this next fight, we do see that Blur is sitting on that Graviton Surge and Soul Eater on his ulti as well. So we're probably going to see him TP onto the high ground here once they drop down to point and follow up on that Graviton Surge. With that combo though, bubble management is imperative, and Blur not known for his Zarya play. So I'm interested to see if he manages to combo that correctly. Let's see as they come in here.
Projected has been used.
Okay, on Obsidian Fury, gonna get that charge, that's okay. If they choose to grab now, here we go, here's the grab. Going for the top of the scene, and then follow-up is perfect. They got a lot of damage in before the grab even dropped, and now capping point. There's not nearly enough time for Poggi to get back in here. Oh, JRV, can he touch? No, he can't. A good push in, a good attack round from Toxic Crocs secures them second point.
Yeah, very well done. So at the end of the day, they just barreled in there so fast, and they just threw the grab down, used the Death Blossom. So ultimately, the projected barrier onto the Reaper not even needed there. But speaking of barrier management, I do want to point out a play there from Blur earlier in the game. Shadows came to the high ground looking for the boop, looking to just knock all of them off the top there and just disrupt their team a little bit. But Blur actually put a stop to that. He put a projected right in front of Shadow's face onto his teammate in front of him, and it stopped that play from happening. So that was actually massive.
Yeah, really, really nice play from Blur there. Like I say, not known for his Zari, but clearly pretty handy on the hero.
I think Zarya is one of those heroes that all tank players kind of pick up at one point over another because she's just actually a lot of fun, does a lot of damage. She's basically a pseudo DPS.
Yeah, she is. She's a fat, like off tanks. All off tanks are just fat DPS. All right, let's see what we see here. Assassin, JDB going to be running the defensive junk right here, and we do see the Symmetra out for Not No Not.
Yeah, we saw some mad plays from Assassin JDB on the Junkrat in the first game of Team Poggi Woggi that we watched. But that was on Temple of Anubis. This is Hanamura, so it's a bit different. The angles are different, so it'll be interesting to see here on the defense if he gets some better angles than he did now on the attack. He did throw a Tyron at the second point last round, but unfortunately he didn't get that much value out of it. So let's see if he can make some big plays here.
3, 2,
Let's see, indeed, eyes on the Symmetry here to see as well what Not No Not can do to slice through Toxic Crocs' defense here as they move forward. Running the double shield again as we've come to expect, and Assassin JDB could be a pretty good counter here to the teleportation. Let's see what they want to do. Looks like they want to go towards the right side. They do just that. They get through all of them pretty quickly without much. Looks like they haven't quite responded properly. Have Toxic Crocs. Okay, now set up for the defense. A great May wall from Soul Eater here. Puts them under a ton of pressure. They're with the Junkrat and the May. This is exactly how you want to play it. Put the May wall behind so they can't move away. Punish them with the Junkrat on the front line, but they're still getting kills both ways. But Assassin, JDB finally gonna clean this up. JRV the last to go down.
Yeah, gets a nice angle there, puts in some damage on the back line, and just takes Team Poggi Woggi apart. It was a good teleport, good rotation from them. Put a lot of pressure onto Team Toxic Crocs there, but they held under that pressure, and they saw it out.
Really nice play from them. Let's see if they decide to change anything up here. Sully just charges ulti. Also interesting to see Sully and Obsidian, or Sully and Mangoes, switching here between the Sigma and the Orisa. Not sure why that is, but let's see. Good initiation here, a good wall, buying the team some space. They use quite a few resources here. These Toxic Crocs. Let's see how Poggi Woggi can take advantage. A shield getting low. Now the aggression starts. That's Symmetra, putting in a ton of damage here. Amp Matrix comes down, but a good wall, cutting off the team a little bit here. Well, not actually as good as I thought. Singing free, finds Isle of Mango's Orisas though. That puts Toxic Crocs on the front foot here. Can they find anything? They did manage to freeze Soul Eater's May, but a good mortality field kept him healthy. JDB Assassin finds Shadows on the background here with the trap. The really unfortunate death for him, and JRB, his ulti is that. There was a blue Gravitic Flux now. A blue May ulti going in as well. Can they find the May? Gravitic Flux from Blur gets killed in the initial damage, but not finding much out. So far though, this is favoring Toxic Crocs here, and Poggi Woggi gonna have to back out here.
Yeah, so a bit strange that Team Poggi Woggi decided to actually commit ult to that fight, but it's probably because they're going to switch. Yeah, we do see Sully jump onto the Reinhardt, so they're going to run the Reinhardt Orisa here, which would explain the swap in between. Oh, but he switches back to Sigma. So it looks like there's a lot of indecision and perhaps some communication problems on the side of Team Poggi Woggi now. They're losing a bit of discipline. Team Toxic Crocs is putting a lot of pressure onto them. So let's see if they can just regain some of their composure and get a clean push. Not looking for the TP. Oh, big pick.
Okay, that's a big pick, a really big pick. There's no mercy on either team here, so that means that kill is permanent. Now they can move forward. They drop the Symmetra ulti here, buy themselves a bit of room to work. That shield is not really killable. Which means, yeah, good decision from Toxic Crocs. Gonna move back a little bit, wait it out. Now the Amp Matrix goes down. That amplifies healing and damage, so they can move through it and still get a lot of benefit, and they do just that. Blur moving forward. Here's the ulti, a great halt there. Brings the team in. Wait. No, that was a bad ulti, right? That was Toxic Crocs' ulti on top of his team. That was very unusual.
Oh, this could be a big
fire!
fire!
Clean it up. Oh yes, he can. Toxic Crocs back in control. Assassin JDB coming out clutch there for his team.
Gets a lot of value there. It looks like it's just the caster's curse happening.
Yeah.
Fluffy nearly going down there to a more damage orb. What a scene that would have been.
So yeah, what happened in that fight? They looked like they were. I mean, what happened to Soul Eater's May ulti as well? Was that good?
It looks like he peeked around the corner and it just bounced against the wall, which is a bit unfortunate. But Team Toxic Croc still holding on to it. They do have to run back to the point here. Might not have enough time.
This is something we saw from Fluffy yesterday, Paragon, where he was able to single-handedly punish Pharaoh on his Ana. Oh, Assassin JDB though, he's out of position. Can that kill him? Yes, it does. With a good coalescence there to punish Assassin JDB with a good follow-up on the halt there from I Love Mangoes. Now they move forward. Remember, this fight is even Shadow Z. Goodbye, Toxin Sock. One good boop deserves another. The boop master himself has punished Shadow Z on that Lucio, getting all the kills here. Now following it up with a pretty late sound barrier, it has to be said, but still, rather secure the fight here and get ready to push on to point 2.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Fluffy getting a very good pick at the start of fight, picking up JRV. But in a way that actually kind of works out for Team Poggi Woggi because JRV holds onto his barrage now. So he can use that here in the second floor. They can try and blitz that with the Gravitic Flux and possibly the barrage. We do see Assassin JDB here switching off the Junkrat onto the Trace. So he's going to try and get into the back, try and irritate the team, and just prevent them from getting value.
Split angles here from a huge halt. Both teams totally isolated here. JRB trying to make something happen there. Now Blur committing his Gravitic Flux. Both teams in fact committing the Gravitic Flux here. Blur finding some pay dirt there. I think at this point, if you're Poggi Woggi, you back out here. You're not winning this fight against Toxic Crocs with the spawn advantage as it is, and the number advantage even worse.
Yeah, really clinical defense going on here. They did try and just commit the ultimates, run in and just hit them with the Gravitic Flex and the Barrage. Unfortunately, they didn't get enough value out of those two abilities. They didn't get enough picks, so they probably could have held on to them and waited for a bigger combo. But that said, JRV does switch onto the Ashe here, so they were probably looking for that switch anyway.
Oh, the sleep! Buying some time there on Isle of Mangus. They need to be careful here. Sully's quite far forward. I don't know what he's trying to get done here. Could really get into a lot of trouble. Seems to be fine. Some Ashes. It's not again. JRB this time. Switching to Ashe, getting a good dynamite in there. Forcing the Immortality Field nice and early. Now they can come barreling through. Isle of Mangoes picks up 2 off the back here. Seraphim following up with the Coalescence now. They move on to point. They're getting so many kills so suddenly here with a very ultimate movement there. Blur. It's the benefit of the nano boost here, but he's taken down very quickly. A solo Sigma, not really going to be able to do much. It's not Find Soul Eater's Reaper there. Ulti's here. Not with his Reaper ulti, he'll be able to stop them from getting in here. Let's see if he uses it right now. Gets aggro, punish Obsidian Fury, takes him down eventually. Sully, Blur rather, in on his ulti. The Flux just clipped Fluffy right on the edge here. Blur, touching point again. Soul Eater is back in the mix here though. He's closing in on an ulti. If he can come in a couple more times, might be able to get that ulti and get a few kills here, but I don't think they'll be able to do it here. Blur, not able to keep on point for too much longer. Taken down. Tracer, Assassin had to recall there. And that buys space for Poggi Woggi to take the point.
Yeah, Team Poggi Woggi finally finding the chink in the armor that they needed to get through. That said, they only have a minute left in the bank. Team Toxic Crocs, they do have 3 minutes and 29 seconds to push through and get the ticks that they need. So hopefully the ideal situation here for Team Toxic Crocs is they have enough time to push all the way through. Team Poggi Woggi, they're going to struggle with only a minute on the clock.
Yeah, 100%. We started off the series looking at Poggi Woggi as the stronger of the two teams. They look so clean on the first map, Nepal. What's changed since then, Paragon?
I think a lot of what's changed is just overall confidence on the side of Team Poggi Woggi. I feel like their confidence has maybe dipped a bit. They're not looking as assertive as they did on Nepal. And I think that's probably because Sully is under a lot of pressure right now. Toxic Crocs putting a lot more pressure onto him, which is kind of restricting his gameplay. He likes to play a hard and aggressive gameplay type, which is I think why we saw the switch between him and I Love Mangoes with the Sigma and the Orisa. I think Orisa is a more static defensive play style, so I think Sully kind of maybe just got a bit frustrated, decided to switch on the Sigma, which enables him to get a bit more in people's faces, play a bit more aggressively.
2, 1.
100%.
Attackers incoming.
So, the
Defend
Bastion here for
objective
Soul
A.
Eater, they've really been liking this pick on Toxic Crocs. Let's see if they can make something happen here. Not choosing to run Symmetry here on the side of... Ooh, a nice wall. Blur. Sorry, Sully gets cover from his team there, but gonna move too aggressively. They're taking so much damage. Forced to use their own wall there defensively as Poggi Woggi now. Just gonna rotate through onto the high ground for a bit of a better angle.
Yeah, they're getting through. Sully jumps down, taking the short angle.
Remaining.
Oh, that main wall could cause problems. Yeah.
It was a good move though from Sully.
Whoa!
Angle, nice wall. He kept the charge in, but it good. He just managed to get him out of the range of the immortality field, and now Poggi Woggi on the front foot here, gonna be punishing what Toxic Crocs has to offer here. Blair though, it's a return kill on the Reaper. That could prove pivotal here. With a lot of their damage. A nice charge from Sully takes down the Mei though. I think that's gonna seal the deal here for Poggi Woggi. They just need to clean up what's left. Sully getting committed here, just secure things as it's just. Yeah, just more left on the point as Poggi Woggi take the first point. That's a big deal.
Yeah, Sully again showing that aggressive playstyle that I mentioned earlier. He just likes to get in there, get swinging. He gets those close range pins, which are so hard to get. It's very precise. You have to be at such close range, but he manages to do it. Seraphim also really complementing his playstyle there, throwing the immortality all the way onto the enemy team, so that when Sully arrives, he can't die, and they have to focus the lamp instead. But at that point, there's so much going on that they're going to struggle. That said, 15 seconds left here between Poggi Woggi to get on the second point.
Oh, they're taking the long way around here. Good wall. Cuts off one from the team here. Putting them under pressure. A nice Reaper TP. He's getting very aggressive here. He needs to kill that immortality field. Does he have the ulti? No, he's quite far away from it still. Now he's pressuring Soul Eater. Soul Eater's not looking forward, but it seems okay for now as the rest of the team has got more than enough power. Fluffy, especially with that coalescence, punishing Poggi Woggi's attack here. They don't get any purchase on point 2.
Yeah, great coalescence coming out from Fluffy there. He gets a lot of value out of that. JRV really doing his best to get at the back there and try and just be a thorn in the side of Team Toxic Crocs. Soul Eater does turn his attention away, but fortunately, yeah, Fluffy with the very good coalescence there.
Absolutely so. Let's see now. What are Toxic Crocs going to do here on their attack? We haven't seen them run the Symmetry yet. We've seen Assassin run the Junkrat plenty, but Poggi Woggi need to pull something out of the bag here. If they can full hold them on first point here, they will win this match.
Yeah, maybe we see the double shield Bastion. We do see the double shield come out on the side of Team Poggi Woggi here. We see a Symmetra on Assassin JDB here for Team Toxic Crocs and the Reaper. So it looks like they're going to run Ryan Zarya with a Symmetra teleport. So they're just going to teleport straight onto point and get in the face of Team Poggi Woggi and frustrate them. Sully back on the Orisa. I Love Mangoes on the Sigma. And it's Reaper Junkrat. So all things considered, I think if Team Toxic Crocs teleport onto the point, Not and JRV, that's perfect for them because then they're right in a close, tight space. And that, for a Junkrat and a Reaper, that's heaven. They're just going to put in so much damage. Blur and Obsidian Fury are not going to be able to just be as aggressive as they'd like to be. Obsidian Fury is going to have to hold up that shield to block all that damage, but at such tight range, it doesn't matter because they can just rotate around him so easily. We do see them pushing in.
What they do have is the immortality field here when they come in, so if they can get in there, okay, the TP straight to point here, a quick response from Poggi Woggi though, since they punish Blur as he comes through. I believe Blur TP through, and the TP died, so he kind of stranded himself there on that side.
Up to awkward moments in Overwatch. But yeah, unfortunately Blur going down there, gonna be a bit frustrated by that. Obsidian Fury getting some good ult charge there. But ultimately, Tox actually had to put down the immortality there, so they don't have immortality now. They might have to wait that out.
I wonder if they just wait for it.
I think it is kind of vital here. They're gonna look for the teleporter.
Looking again, a nice block this time on the damage. They go on the high ground this time. They do get a bit of a better setup now. They're going to move around the backside. They need to be careful. They're a little bit split up. Poggi Woggi setting up a pretty good defense here on first point. Let's see what the next movement is here. They're just going to go forward. All Toxic Crocs get on top of them, but they're not able to close the gap. Good play. That boop, not quite enough. And Shadow is going to pay for it with his life. Toxic Crocs, though, pushing forward, are getting a few kills, but not enough, I think, at this stage. One advantage does favor them, and not with the Junkrat. We haven't seen him play that hero just yet, but so far so good as he picks up a double there, along with I Love Mangoes, as they clean up Toxic Crocs' attack.
Yeah, so very very much expected here. Team Toxic Crocs, they get in, they get close, they get aggressive just the way they wanted to. Tox does have the good immortality field, but there's just so much damage coming in from that Junkrat. Not builds his ultimate very quickly, and you know, he's just causing so much damage, putting so much pressure on the tanks. We do see Obsidian Fury, does have the Earth Shadow here. Let's see if he'll get to use it.
Let's see.
Oh,
Oh, Blur. Getting KO'd a little bit there. He's not quite on his ultimate yet. Obsidian Fury does have his, like you mentioned, Bongo up for Sully as well. That could be the tool they need to buy a little bit more time. Here comes the Flux as well. Choosing not to combo it with the Bongo just yet. Obsidian Fury up in the sky, taking a lot of damage here, around half HP. Now out of position is Isle of Mangoes. He needs to be careful, but Blur, looks like he wanted to wait there. Looks like Obsidian Fury, yeah, going down. I think that spells the end of this attack here. I'd like to see them back out now on the side. Or maybe not. Maybe I read too much into that. No. Getting the Martyrdom kill there onto Toxin. Sox and Isle of Mangoes returning the favor onto Blur. So let's see if Toxic Crocs have enough to clutch this one out. I don't think they do. I think I'd like to see them switch it up, but maybe I'm wrong. Soul Eater, now the respawn's coming in. Both TPS putting in a ton of work here for and that charge in from downtown. Obsidian Fury finds Isle of Mangoes left in the lurch, and Toxic Crocs gonna clutch this one out in a very messy team fight.
Yeah, and it looks like with only 25 seconds left on the clock, they're gonna get this point, and we may be looking at a draw of all things.
Yeah, we might, and this is a best of 5, so the draw's not quite as impactful. We will still have a winner at the end of the day here. But,
40 seconds left on the clock. It's highly likely at this point.
Do you think if you're Poggi Woggi, you're happy with the draw here, considering the deficit you were at?
I think after the great defense they've had so far, I think no. I think they would be.
Okay, but they don't have a choice.
Yeah,
they either lose or draw.
Yeah, I would take the draw. Obviously.
Oh, Sully!
Uh-oh.
Do they have enough to punish him? It doesn't look yes. Assassin JDB with a perfect trap there. Catches Sully on his way through and gets the kill on him. Now they move towards the point. Not. Does have an ulti when he comes out. That Riptide could be the difference maker. JRP as well. He finds two on the back line. I think we're looking down the barrel of a draw here. No. Assassin JDB equalizes things. But the spawn advantage deeply in favor of Toxic Crocs, or rather Poggi Woggi. Here it is. There it comes. Perfect play from Not to pick up the last two stragglers. Soul Eater not able to make it to the point, and we do have our first draw of the whole tournament.
Yeah, that's I don't know how to feel about that, if I'm honest. I feel like these teams are, you know, trading blows for blows here, so I think it's a fair result. Team Poggi Woggi gonna feel hard done by. They had a really good clutch defense there at the last moments. But yeah, Team Toxic Crocs also just showing that they can also get aggressive, they can also be cohesive.
Yeah. So I don't know that we'll see what happens here. So yeah, the score is still 1-1 according to Blur. So we won't be having a tiebreaker map. We might have one if we do end up drawn at the end of the series. But yeah, Hanamura, no team able to find the advantage there.
And I think that's pretty much just classic 2CP. You know, that's the kind of thing that you can expect from a 2CP match. So, yeah, with teams as good as these with star talent on both sides, I think, yeah, all in all, a fair result. And a pretty great match, actually.
Lol, that's true. So Blur, who's admin here, he says, so we play on, yeah. So if it's 2-2, we'll do a tiebreaker after map 5. And the team who picked Havana picked the next map as well.
Yeah, so we're looking at another 2 maps in this best of 5.
At least, yeah. So if each team wins a map, then we'll go to a tiebreaker, probably on a control map, to decide who takes the series. But these two teams, you know, it looked pretty one-sided at the beginning, like I mentioned earlier. But Toxic Crocs able to come back, but Poggi Woggi stalwart defense, and now it feels like the graphs of these two teams' performances have coincided perfectly at the end of map 3.
They need to, both teams at this stage, they need to keep the energy up. There are 3 maps in now. So, you know, they're gonna start feeling some fatigue. They're gonna start feeling a lot more frustrated, especially after a draw. I think a draw is very frustrating for both teams. That said,
I agree and disagree. I think if you're Poggi Woggi, you might actually be on the up there when you were so far behind and still manage to equalize, you know?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But that said, we are moving on now to King's Row, everybody's favorite map. So hopefully this will energize some people. I know Sully's going to be feeling energized because he's going to be able to play some Reinhardt here, which he adores. Obsidian as well, also a very keen Reinhardt player, so he's going to be happy about that as well. Blur seems to be enjoying the Zarya, so yeah, that's going to be great. I wonder if we're going to see any Widowmaker here on King's Row, because not a bad map for Widowmaker. There's a lot of good angles for her to use, a lot of high grounds that she can take advantage of. But,
Depends on how these teams. Oh, finally, okay. Depends on how these teams choose to run their compositions. I think if neither team leans too heavily on the double shield, we might see a bit of Widow. But otherwise, I think the Widow is gonna have a real time.
yeah, I think though you've got to keep in mind that Team Toxic, Team Poggi Woggi, they do have the advantage of having not a Widowmaker specialist on their team as well. So Assassin JDB and Soul Eater, I haven't known either of them to be Widowmaker players. So if they do pull out the Widowmaker on the side of Team Poggi Woggi, they might struggle to find answers if they don't have shields in the right places.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. So, who do you think Kings Row favored? I know a lot of these teams are gonna have a good time, but one of them's got to win. I mean, okay, theoretically they could draw this map as well. That would be a pretty interesting
I mean,
outcome.
it's a difficult
Now
one,
entering
but I
King's
think
Row.
with the aggressive playstyle on Team Poggi Woggi, I think they're gonna be looking to take this one.
Initiating match.
It's just so close at the moment. This is a very tight
Yeah.
match for our first semi-final, which is great.
I always think of Kings Row as a particularly main tank favorite
Yes.
map. I don't know if I just imagined that, but it seems like a good main tank makes a really big difference on Kings Row. And I think of these two, Obsidian Fury, no slouch, but Sully definitely the more accomplished of the two.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the thing with King's Row is that it does come down to the main tanks because there are a lot of different key positions to hold. So you need to be cohesive on this map. A lot of high grounds. So you need to choose the right route to take your team and make sure you get good rotations in. So it's going to be interesting to see here. We do see Ryan Zarya out of both teams. So we're looking at a slugfest on the point. Team Toxic Crocs are pulling out the Baptistos, so they're going to have an immortality field in place of a defensive ultimate from Lucio. Means they don't have the speed though, so they're going to be playing a lot more dug in. They're going to just let Team Poggi Woggi come in. Sully actually going off the Reinhardt onto the Wrecking Ball here. They're going to be running Wrecking Ball Zarya, which is quite interesting. Maybe Sully just going to scout with the Wrecking Ball and go back and switch. But we'll see. They do have the Lucio on that team, so if
No, I think he was just on the high ground. Yeah, he just wanted to get into
Objective
the
A.
window.
So yeah, Team Poggi Woggi does have the Lucio here. They do have the advantage of the speed boost. They're going to look to walk in here, get aggressive, and yeah, just cause some problems here.
Let's see what they do. The good May Wall just going to buy them a little bit of time here. Recharge should be up before any engagement starts. Damage coming through both teams. A nice TP onto the high ground here. You could find a really good angle. A boop from Obsidian Fury. That's too deep from Sally, but it doesn't look like he's going to get punished at the moment. Able to rejoin with his team. JRB, quite low HP. Back down by Seraph from here. And now the damage is going through. They're forced to use the immortality field, but that's an advantage the other team doesn't have. And so Obsidian Fury finds not here. That could be the linchpin upon which this team fight is decided. We start to slip. Oh my god, that main wall completely muted Sully's attempt at an earth shattering. He trades his life, in fact, to Socks and Socks' Baptiste. Now they're gonna have to move back. Oh, Poggi Woggi in the red.
Amazing defense here from Team Toxic Crocs. They, like I said, they held deep. They held deep, and they just waited out the storm. You know, they just weathered out the storm. They didn't let Sully get in aggressive. They didn't go out and look for the punish onto him. They didn't go out of their way and lose formation. So we're gonna see now if Team Poggi Woggi can get back in there.
Oh, and Matrix is going down. The Obsidian Fury finds the insta kill, courtesy of that Anthem Seraphim. Didn't stand a chance, but the fight not quite over yet as far as Poggi Woggi are concerned. But no, with that kill onto Isle of Mangoes, I think it's pretty much over. Yeah, JRB going down as well. It's a 4v2 on the point, and Assassin JDB uncontested on this main.
So I mean, before the match started, you mentioned, you know, Obsidian Fury being no slouch. but Sully definitely being, you know, having the advantage there. But at this stage, Obsidian Fury is absolutely running the show. He's winning every duel against Sully, countering important charges. So it's interesting, you know, he's holding the line real well for his team here.
I think that has a lot to do with the support cost, though. He's got so much more healing than Sully does. He can get aggressive without having to worry that he's a nice ulti here. Ulti's going both ways. So many ultis, wow, but definitely coming out on top of that is Team Poggi Woggi. May ulti going in, they commit the sound barrier as well to counter the Graviton Surge from Blur, and they end up executing on that, capping first point.
Yeah, again, you know, uh-oh.
Very aggressive play here, they need to be careful not to overextend, but no, they're getting kills on Obsidian Fury. We've got a little bit over.
Oh my god!
That is 5! Sit down, everybody! Sully, you said Obsidian Fury was getting the better of that. I know who I favor.
Yeah, well, that's, again, Caster's Curse coming in over here. Sully absolutely calling that play. He wants to get aggressive. He wants to deny the close spawn. And he does. He gets in there. Obsidian, unfortunately, making a bit of a bad call there with the charge. And he gets caught out, and that leaves his team vulnerable to the 5-man Earth Shatter, which gives Team Poggi Woggi here a lot of space. But yeah,
that's highlight worthy right there.
Yeah, precisely. That's highlight reel stuff.
Let's see here what they do now, coming in a little bit on the back foot here, momentum favoring Poggi Woggi as they move forward. Sully needs to be careful here, like I said. Okay, no, they have switched onto the Lucio to assist Obsidian Fury. Nice counter to Sully. How did you read that one? Were they just on the same brainwave there? Okay, return the favor. Obsidian Fury, not bad in zone right, but not gonna protect his team with that kill. Now, throwing the ultis. This time it's the opposite way around. May ulti goes one direction, Graviton Surge goes the other, and this time it's a perfect mirror of the first point. It's Toxic Crocs getting the better of this engagement. Sully, hello, welcome. Okay, goodbye. He's gonna try and back his way out here, but that Coalescence should seal his fate, I think. No, he's pretty healthy actually. He should be able to get out of there.
Yeah, the Coalescence, a bit of a panic button there. It's good that Team Poggi Woggi actually forced that out, because that's a big resource that now Team Toxic Crocs, they don't have on this defense. Blur is coming up on the Graviton Surge. Soul Eater does have the Death Blossom. JRV has the Death Blossom of his own. Shadows nearly has the beat to counter the enemy Death Blossom though.
Decent charge up here on Blur compared to Isle of Mangoes, and you can see his ulti charge as well. Way ahead, there's the Shadow. Doesn't seem to find anything. Soul Eater in the back line. Toxic Crocs making short work of Poggi Woggi's attack this time around.
Yeah, huge flank there from Soul Eater. Gets in the back. Shadows.
Oh my god. Hello?
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 Uh-oh.
Hello?
Blur? Hello?
Hello?
That's unfortunate. They lose the Q there, the Graviton Surge to what I can only assume is a fat finger. That's bad. Team Poggi Woggi here has 4 ultimates. They're going to want to barrel in here. Here it comes.
Here comes one of them now. Not. Gonna chuck his in. We've seen how good he is with this May ulti, but this one seems to just be zoning. But they do track Blur down on the right side here. Sully, hyper aggressive onto Obsidian Fury. The poor boy crushed in his insolence. Isle of Mangoes picking up the last hit on that one, and now Soul Eater with aggressive TP here. Okay, he knows what he's about. He's just gonna buy some time on the point here. We'll probably see Fluffy do the same. Fluffy? Team? Hello? Okay, Fluffy.
This will restore you.
Nice work from Fluffy there, buying his team a little bit of space.
Yeah, that's a good 10 seconds of time. It is a little bit of a stagger, but it buys them so much time to just get in position. Fluffy shouldn't have a problem reaching them again using that fade.
They should be able to get in here in time. JRV needs to be careful here. Angle JDB Assassin has an angle on him there. Just punish him a little bit. Sully? Am I seeing this right? Is this a mega flank here from Sully? Let's see if this comes off here. This could be an enormous play. No, he just position away with the 5 strikes, but that's just a distraction.
Oh,
JDB. I like that play. He tried to get Obsidian Fury to turn with the ulti. Sully follow up, but this May ulti gonna spell the doom for Poggi Woggi here. They've got 18 seconds left to get in on this point for the last push, and I don't know that they'll be able to do so. We'll have to look towards Sully again on the Wrecking Ball to make something fancy happen.
Yeah, again, I feel like Team Crocs are going to be saying thank you for the stall, Fluffy. But it looks like they don't have enough time here.
now.
Oh my god, he does it!
How did he do that? Huge play from Sully there. Touches point, buying his team some time. I know there's a Lucio in the mix here. Yes, looks like shadows on the Lucio. Managing to get in, but he's not going to last very long. Mango finally makes his way to point. He's 97 to ulti. If he can get the ulti, he gets it down. Is there follow-up? I don't think there is. Not on the Sombra for the speed to get back to this fight. They don't have enough damage here on the sides of Poggi Woggi to get these kills, although Tracer in the mix, although Solo Tracer isn't good enough. And Toxic Crocs gonna hold them here just before second point.
You know, this makes me happy. 2 teams running Ryan Zarya on King's Row.
I know,
Like,
right?
oh my god, this is good Overwatch. I love this. But yeah, so really good retake there from Team Toxic Crocs. They do so well to get in, using ultimates to deadly effect. A huge May Blizzard there from Assassin JDB, and he's also popping off, getting huge Icicle headshots as well. Gets an Icicle headshot onto JRV26 as he pops the Death Blossom, which just completely shuts down the attack on the side of Team Poggi Woggi. So he's causing real problems for them, but you know, you gotta say that extra 20 seconds that Fluffy bought his team there really paid dividends.
I think you could be right about that, actually. Let's see now how these teams are running. I think the Widowmaker is a real possibility given what these teams are running, but the Choose looks like on the attack here, Toxic Crocs are just going to go for the tried and tested May Reaper, although they will be running the Ryan Zarya. Undecided so far. Something we've seen before, they're quite slow to make decisions, or at least the decisions are very considered on Poggi Woggi.
Yeah, it looks like there's probably... I think the problem on the side of Team Poggi Woggi is you have a lot of voices there. You know, you have Sully who wants to run what he wants to run. Shadows will have, you know, his ideas. Seraphim as well. So I think you have quite a few players there. Maybe too many chefs in the kitchen, trying to decide what they should run here. But Sully is on the ride. We do have Ryan Zarya, May, and not a Widowmaker, but Ashe. So let's see if Nononoc can get more value out of the Ashe here than he did on Hanamura.
Yeah, he's been pretty good on this hero, Hanamura not standing. Okay, just crossing the walls there a little bit. And the team getting an advantage there is the Dynamite going in. Getting a little bit of ulti charge towards that bar for not so far. And the team getting any particular advantage here. There it comes, Obsidian Free, taking a lot of damage there. He goes very aggressive, he finds Shadows with that charge, but a nice counter charge from Sully punishes him for his insolence. Toxin Socks moving around pretty aggressive here on the high ground as Sully gets aggressive onto Soul Eater. Ashe doing a lot of damage. Sully very low. Okay, gets the backup from Seraphim, but his shield pops and so does his HP. Now it's just 2 left on point. Huge charge on Isle of Mangoes here, but I don't think he's got enough support to get the damage down before he dies. No, he doesn't. Fluffy gets a kill. Coalescence pop. Toxic Crocs take advantage.
Yeah, Toxic Crocs actually just running the show at this stage. They're getting in there, they're dictating the pace of the fight. The May wall giving Obsidian good angles to get the pin in. Sully does get the counter charge, but it also means that the Reaper and Soul Eater can just walk up into him, put a lot of pressure on him, just break that barrier. Seraphim having to put out so much healing that he actually ran out there towards the end as Sully's barrier broke. And unfortunately that means that Sully went down, and at that point it was a lost fight.
Do now have the Earth Shatter on Sully. He's getting very aggressive here. They've got Seraphim's Coalescence as well.
Oh he gets how does he get behind?
Huge play. Obsidian moves in and to stop the charge. I think he just saved his team's life there. He might not have stopped the Shatter. He stopped Sully from getting the damage in here. He does go down courtesy of Seraphim's Coalescence though. But Toxic Crocs are falling in this team fight. Looks like Poggi Woggi will be able to take control here. The May, yeah, low HP, taken down. Toxin Sock's gonna have to get out of here. And a good play from the 2 main tanks there.
Yeah, so really good play there from Obsidian. He did keep his team alive. Sully, I don't know how he got behind him, but he did. He jumped right past that shield, popped down that Earth Shatter, tried to get the pin in. Obsidian putting his body on the line here. We do see
the cut off now, Paragon. Cut off from the team. I don't think Blur realized that because he pops the ulti down, but okay, pretty decent follow-up. Sound Barrier, Graviton Surge, and the May ultimate. The Blizzard not able to get the follow-up actually. No, they are, sorry. Toxic Crocs now doing a pretty good job of just cleaning up this fight. JRV going down, and it looks like Seraphim gonna have to try and run out. I don't think they'll be able to track him down, although he's looking for something else. Yeah,
Poggi Woggi making it difficult there for Team Toxic Crocs to get value out of it, but I mean, after committing that many ultimates to the fight, I think it would have been criminal if Team Toxic Crocs didn't get recontest on the payload there.
Yeah.
So we do see more ultimates now on the side of Team Poggi Woggi, so they're gonna have to push in now. And
Soul Eater needs to be careful. A good counter charge there from Sully. Here's the grab in. Coalescence, the only follow-up at this stage. No, May ulti in there. Sound barrier as well. These team fights have been mirrored so many times, and this time does look like they'll be able to come on top. They need to be careful not to C9 here. And Soul Eater on the point that Reaper needs to be dealt with, or he's going to do a ton of damage.
Oh,
does have his
no.
ulti set up. Well,
Oh,
just
no.
kills Valley. Oh my god, he's got ulti. Okay. Chooses not to use it there. That could have been a disaster.
it is already a bit of a disaster as Team Poggi Woggi is now without Sully, and Team Toxic Crocs are regrouping very, very quickly. So it's going to be a race back to the point. Sully is getting back. He uses the charge from spawn. He is back for the recontest, fortunately, in time, as Team Toxic Crocs are going to look to push in here again.
This is a good position for the Reaper though, Paragon. Soul Eater. With that ulti, there's a lot of decent high ground you can use here to find an angle behind them. But they need to be careful for Sally's shield. A nice May wall. Sorry, actually not a nice May wall. A bit of a miscommunication there between the May and his main tank. Obsidian Fury finds the charge onto the May, and now it's just a matter of clean up. Toxic Crocs, better use of their ultis, better play in general, and they're going to take map number 4 here on King's Row.
That they are very well played to them. You gotta feel there for Sully with the May wall. That's very, very unfortunate. But I think he maybe shadows 2 or 3 people there. If Soul Eater still gets in the back line and gets value off that Death Blossom like he does with this one, it could still be very much a lost fight.
Yeah, well played to Toxic Crocs there. They've completed the comeback a little bit. Finally taking the lead in this series, and it has to be said, looking the much better of the 2 teams on King's Row there.
Yeah, which is surprising. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the aggressive play we're seeing from Poggi Woggi is phenomenal. They're very good at it, but Toxic Crocs are actually just so much more superior on the defense.
Yeah.
Because they can they're very good at playing in deep and holding the line, not overextending, maintaining shape and form. So yeah, I mean it's some very, very good play we're seeing from the side of Toxic Crocs, and they take the lead by 1 point in a well-deserved fashion.
Yeah, so in order for them to stay in the series, Poggi Woggi need to win the next match, obviously. Then we'll go to a tiebreaker. Our next match will be on the control points, which they did take the first round of. So you got to be feeling pretty good for Poggi Woggi's chances here.
Yeah. We are currently waiting for the next map. We do see Busan. So this is going to be interesting to see what
I haven't
comps team
seen
runs
this
here.
map yet.
Yeah.
Nepal and Lijiang, the favorite maps of local teams.
Yeah, no, this is the first time we are seeing Busan on stream for the Talon Cup 2019. So it's going to be interesting to see what comps teams run here. I'm not too sure what we'll see. Maybe we'll see the Widowmaker here.
I mean,
Now
if any
travel
map,
to
this
Busan.
would be the one, right?
Yeah.
Or at least on this particular point with these high grounds here on the left and right. Widowmaker, pretty solid pick, and the way the map is built means it's quite easy to change your angle and find good angles around the shields.
"25 seconds here until the compositions are revealed."
I think I'm feeling pretty good about Poggi Woggi on this map. Something about their playstyle seems to be favoring the control maps. So
I don't know. I think Team Poggi Woggi is feeling a bit shaken now. I think tensions are probably running quite high. It's a semi-final. It's early in the morning. People have had to get up early for this. We are seeing the dive Wrecking Ball Winston coming out from Team Poggi Woggi, and Ryan Zarya from the side of Team Toxic Crocs. So I think if Team Toxic Crocs can just get on the point and control the space, they can do really, really well. But that's only if Team Poggi Woggi lets them, because they're going to have a lot of disruption on their side.
5, 4,
yeah, 100%. Let's see
2,
who can better
1.
execute here. We're
Round
seeing the
1.
pharmacy out
Capture
of
the
Toxic
objective.
Crocs, or rather out of Poggi Woggi here. This is the May Reaper again. So it seems like May Reaper is pretty much the standard here for Toxic Crocs.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see. Sully is going in there and immediately disrupting.
Oh, that aggressive charge from Obsidian Fury. He's not being punished for Blur. Dropping a little bit low here as Isle of Mangus. That's the same. Sully over the top now in the backline, but not able to find anything just yet. I like this. Not in the background. On to Fluffy trying to punish him, but Isle of Mango is the first one to drop, and they give the point away here for free. With the man advantage they've got now, I think you're just going to have to see Poggi Woggi back out, but looks like they still want to fight. A nice group secures. Oh, that was close. Secures the anti-heal onto Team Toxic Crocs, but no punish just yet. This may though, I mean, the Pharaoh, sorry, uncontested in the sky here. JRV might be able to find something here, but it's still Team Toxic Crocs in control. They're the ones getting the picks, they're the ones getting the kills, and they're the ones in control of the point.
I think we have to really give a big shout out here to Assassin JDB on the Mei. He's causing so many problems. He's very accurate with the Icicle Blasts. And he's freezing key targets as well. He's just being a anchor point for Team Toxic Crocs. Anyone that gets past the Reinhardt gets frozen, and that's a big problem for Team Poggi Woggi.
Oh, that way. Here comes JRB. Nano boosted barrage shut down. One spell usage. Fluffy coming in clutch for his team though. Sully gonna try and make something happen, but they're 2 down already. I don't know about this commitment. I think it's too much into a lost fight, and Obsidian Fury just gonna use that shield to clear the point. And now, again, Poggi Woggi gonna have to back out. Not finally gets Poggi Woggi on the board here, but it's not gonna be nearly enough.
Yeah, speaking of waking up early, I think JRV clearly suffering from some fatigue there as he falls asleep, but it's okay. Obsidian Fury was there to tuck him back into bed.
The steroids not even enough to keep him awake.
Yeah, we do see though that he does switch here onto the Widowmaker. He's going to look for some sight lines. They don't have double shield on this side of Team Toxic Crocs, so if you can get some good picks here, there is high potential that it could be good for Poggi Woggi to retake. They do have the Rhine Orisa now, but there's only 13% left.
And they're playing into Grav, Shatter, and Mei ulti, so we'll see the Grav, see the Mei ulti here. It's just a clinical combination. JRV though, meanwhile, finds 2 to keep his team in this fight. Sully goes down. Both DPS on both teams putting in a ton of work here. That's a Shatter though from Obsidian Fury. That'll probably seal the deal here.
Oh no!
Never gave up advantage. Not JRV hooking up for so much damage, so many kills between the 2 Poggi Woggi DPS, and that's a poor Seraphim has disconnected just to kill all the momentum that we had going.
Oh my god, what is it with Team Poggi Woggi in here and their supports disconnecting today? First it was Vertica, yeah, late in internet, yeah, good point. But yeah, so I mean, we see some outstanding picks from JRV coming in there, really giving his team the momentum. But the thing is, Team Toxic Crocs are mostly just ignoring him. Some of them are using natural cover, and then the front line of Team Toxic Crocs is pushing past the corner where he can't see into his team. Obsidian Fury gets a good shadow there, disrupts the enemy team, and then Not comes in, gets the huge Death Blossom. So it's just Tox and JDB on the point, but they managed to hold it. Now they can just use natural cover and wait out the overtime.
Let's see if they can get in here. Sully has joined the fray though. I think that could be a difference maker. It's a 3v3 now, but JRB is massacring these poor boys. Toxin Sock, Soul Eater though. He comes in with his ulti, but it's not enough. Shadows with the Saki brings him down, and finally Blur, okay, he's gonna touch point here. Gonna try and buy Toxic spots the space, but Poggi Woggi with the big clutch for the first time, not courtesy of Sully, this time courtesy of his DPS.
Yeah, no, 100%. So again, that Widow switch was absolutely key. They recognized against the Ryan Zarya that Team Toxic Crocs don't really have something that can protect their team. So unfortunately, Team Toxic Crocs, if JRB continues to stick on the Widow, they're gonna have to use a lot of natural cover. It's gonna be a problem because it means Fluffy can't play out in the open as he's been used to for most of the game. He can't be as aggressive. He can't contribute to DPS as much as he has been doing. So it's going to be very difficult for Toxic Crocs if JRV continues to put so much pressure on them with the Widowmaker.
No ultis on either side.
No!
Oh no! Sully, the poor thing, he deleted himself, but actually trading his. Oh no! The Reaper, the monkey as well. Sorry, both tanks down for Poggi Woggi. This is a disastrous position, and the sound barrier not gonna help things. Assassin JDB put a scope on his Cryo Blaster and takes down JRV. Crocs would have make it here. Now it's just a matter of cleanup. Not far off top, but that's the credit about Sully here. Oh, he gets stunned though. He's in the May wall. Sorry, he's in the May ulti. Sully, not long for this world, finally rejoined by I Love Mangoes, but he's not close to his ulti. He's not going to live very long in the face of the May. JRB in the mix here on the Tracer. He can't touch for his team, but he's taking a lot of damage. He got moved away. He's not going to touch. Oh my god.
Team Toxic Crocs running the show here. Poggi Woggi making some good switches, but ultimately Team Toxic Crocs, they just have the team cohesion, and unfortunately Sully going out at the start of that fight, he does get the Reaper, but it's just not enough. It's just not enough value. And then of course Tox getting a huge boop onto I Love Mangoes, and I Love Mangoes not having the jetpack, so unfortunately he falls.
Yeah, unfortunately. Are we seeing them get too fancy with the compositions though?
I mean, I don't think so. I think right now people are trying to play what they want to play, what they're most comfortable on, what they feel is gonna get the best results. Unfortunately, a few mistakes coming through, as I think people are getting frustrated, they're getting tired, tensions are running high. This is a semi-final. The winner does go through to the grand final, and Poggi Woggi, they need a win here, otherwise, you know, it's sayonara. We'll see them in third place playoff.
Yeah, we will. Let's see though, as they come through here, Maywall not really quite what it wants there. Obsidian Fury dropping straight away. Finally, an advantage here for Team Poggi Woggi. The Soul Eater recoups their losses just a little bit. Sully in the backline though, no tanks left for Toxic Crocs here. Is now Sully able to work free and do whatever he wants here. Getting on top of Fluffy, doesn't have to shift away just yet. Yeah, okay, he does get out, but good work from Poggi Woggi there.
Yeah, very aggressive play. Obsidian Fury going down early in that fight. Good May wall segregating the team from one another. So Poggi Woggi have the advantage here. Sully nearly has the Earth Shatter. He's getting a lot of damage in, as you can tell by the ultimate charge. Obsidian Fury only sitting on 24%, so that's a problem. Sully's gonna want to get in aggressive here, build the Shatter and use it.
Decent damage here. He's very close to Shatter, like you say. That could be the difference maker considering options. Oh, that wall is huge. Nice counter wall though. Huge counter wall from Assassin JDB. Let's see if they can get the damage. Sully does have ulti now. We've seen him be really good about this. The Obsidian Fury's done a pretty good. He could shatter the right hand side here. They don't have any cover. They need to be careful. There it is. Shatter comes down. Does he find anything with that? Quite tall. He got a decent shatter with that actually. Takes down 2. Good follow up from his team. Assassin JDB getting the kills here. Blur with a good follow up as well. He's going to be close to his ulti here. 85%.
Yeah. So the thing with ultimate usage like that is, yeah, it's good. He gets 3. But they also lost 3, so it's kind of actually even. He doesn't get as much value out of the Shadow as he needs. The best value there would be getting the 3 kills and getting your whole team out. But now they gotta come in for the recontest, and it gives Toxic Crocs the space. We're seeing now a double blizzard.
Look at the circles, Venn diagrams here on the screen. And it looks like so far neither team taking advantage. Okay, Toxic Crocs struggling here. Sully able to hit a stride here, and good work from his DPS keeping them in this one. Poggi Woggi now getting aggressive. That charge from City of Fury doesn't find anyone. No, I lie. It was a weird bounce back. I think we just witnessed Seraphim murder one of his teammates.
Yeah. So it's surprising what happened there, but I think it speaks for how Poggi Woggi should maybe change their playstyle a little bit. If they just let Toxic Crocs push into them sometimes, instead of being so overly aggressive, what can happen is Team Toxic Crocs can actually work their way out of position and lose their formation a bit, which is, I think, what we said.
Does have his ulti. We're gonna see no! Obsidian Fury with a good ulti, but the saving the beat, saving his team there. Seraphim coming in clutch. Sully now, he's able to flex his muscles, getting aggro. Beat going opposite way though. Both Lucios coming in clutch for their team here. Toxin, Seraphim making the plays, and now Fluffy with the Coalescence buying his team the space, but Mangoes, he could do the cleanup here, but Sully didn't have the HP, and now Soul Eater with the Death Blossom, he's going to turn things around here. Both teams using a ton of ultimates, but at the end of all the carnage, it's Toxin Crocs that come out on top.
Again, Team Poggi Woggi just losing cohesion at the final moments. 99%, and Team Toxic Crocs have the point. And when Team Toxic Crocs get the point, they hold on to it. So it's going to be difficult here. Team Poggi Woggi really need to dig deep, find that energy, and just kick them off the point, just so that they can push that overtime and get this point, because if they don't, it's curtains for them.
Yeah, it is. It's game over. Now, aggressive play from Sully. He's nowhere to be found. Assassin JDB with the Dragons, a single ultimate, cleaning up the whole team of Team Poggi Woggi here.
30% now for Team Toxic Crocs. Big stagger here onto Sully. That's unfortunate. That means that they're going to have to wait another good 5%. for Sully to come back up. Is back up now.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
no!
no!
Yet more staggered.
JLB.
It's like you
Yeah,
said
this is
yesterday. People are getting frustrated. They're trying to get as much value out of every interaction as they can. They're trying to peak, you know, trying to look for what they can. But
yeah.
unfortunately, it's starting to cost them. Sully does have the
Yeah,
Earth
that was
Shadow.
another 30% that got up. Oh no!
Oh, again.
Again, Assassin JDB finds JRB. It looks like Team Poggi Woggi have just decided we're gonna go for it. That's a bad shadow from Sally. He finds nothing there. Soul Eater now, all up in his grill. The charge from Sally. Can he find Tox? No. Doesn't hit that one, and now he's under pressure in the backline. He's still got decent HP. That's a good Dragons. Finds out of Mangoes, but finally Tox falls. And JRB's back now. It's pretty even again. I think both teams down 2 players, but Sally going down. Probably his mains. It's game over here for Poggi Woggi in this team fight. They need to back up, regroup, and take their last fight. Altis favoring Poggi Woggi, I would say, maybe.
Yeah, they're closing in on 4 ultimates now. They need to get on the point. They need to enter a sustained brawl. They need to not die here to the Hanzo. They need to really watch out for their Hanzo again. Snipers
Yeah.
are their bane on this Ryan Zarya comp. And
Yeah, if they can do anything. May Alti going in early here. It doesn't look that good from not this time. Seen him do some really good things, and now here we go. Trading Lucio ultimates here, sound barriers. Both teams committing everything they've got. JRB finds a kill on Salt. Yeah, that could be the difference between Obsidian Fury not punished in the backline there. I think he should be taken down here by us JRB, and he gets 1, he gets 2. The Death Blossom could spot the doom of Toxic Crocs here. They don't have enough follow-up, maybe no, yes they do. The Death Blossom not enough to save Toxic Poggi Woggi from this team fight, and Toxic Crocs will take the series 3-1.
they will go through to the grand final later today.
Beautiful
That
play.
was insane.
They
but
looked so in control of the series, actually.
I just have to give a shout out here to Assassin JDB. This man is absolutely insane. We saw it in the first game we casted, and just watch him here. You know, he's so good on such a plethora of heroes. Look at that, a plethora of heroes from Mei, Hanzo, Junkrat, Pharah. This man is a DPS extraordinaire, and it's a crime that we haven't given him attention before now.
Yeah, it is. But that's Talon Cup for you. Eyes on these kinds of players. These guys that we don't have a name for. Just to remind you guys, he is now signed to Rage Quit Odyssey, Blur's own team, in fact. So
He's a name to watch.
he's a player to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're gonna see some good things out of him next season because, honestly, based on the games that we saw yesterday from him and today, he's running the show. It took a little while for him to warm up today, but when he did, he started, just showing so much good effect with the Mei Icicles, with the Hanzo Dragons, just absolutely starting to take Poggi Woggi apart. Shout out to JRV on the side of Poggi Woggi. He also managed to switch on the Widowmaker, put some good pressure onto Team Toxic Crocs, but unfortunately just was not enough. With the side of Toxic Crocs, they used the natural cover well, and they pushed into the enemy team when it suited them. So well played, a great match, and I'm excited for the next 3 today.
Yeah, well, before we get there, Paragon, you got to tell me. I think you've given up the ghost a little bit here, but who was your player of the match?
My player of the match, it's a tough one. I think, like you say, I would lean more towards Assassin JDB, but I think I'm gonna give it to Soul Eater actually.
Okay.
Because honestly speaking, his Death Blossoms this game were absolutely outrageous, and his Mei walls as well at times when he was on the main instead of Assassin JDB were also very good. So I think his Death Blossoms alone won Toxic Crocs so many fights that were just in key situations where it's just before the last point, when it's in overtime, when when Poggi Woggi are about to push the cart, he gets in the back, gets the Death Blossom off, gets 3 kills. And I think that actually is pretty much the only thing that kept Toxic Crocs alive in some situations. So I think he's going to get the MVP vote from me.
All right, awesome. So I think I agree with you. I think for me, maybe I'd lean a little bit more towards Assassin, but maybe that's just because he had the more flashy impact, and we saw him, lighting up the kill feed. That's kind of the nature of DPS, fortunately or unfortunately. So, yeah, I think either one of those players really well performing. Both players we don't really know very well at all. Soul Eater is for playing for the other Rage Quit team, coached by Phoenix Tier, so Neon Retribution. So both players spoken for, but when you watch those first division games next year and maybe Prem, um, these are the kinds of players you can be expected seeing, strong players on the first division team. So as you alluded to earlier, Paragon, we are not done by the day, not by any stretch of the imagination. We do have lots of games still upcoming today. 3, in fact. Up next at what time? 12. We've got, so that's in an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah. We've
Yes.
got the semi-final, second semi-final match between Alweer Gebuli, who we saw yesterday from Group 1. They topped Group 1 versus Mango Juice, who were second place in Group 2. Just to remind you who's on that team, Alweer Gebuli
Yeah,
is.
Alweer Gebuli featuring World Cup DPS Leica Luke and
Yeah.
former DDC Dominion DPS I am Condi. Mango Juice featuring Note, European DPS player. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty much a show of the DPS. I'm very interested to see what we see at that match. It's gonna be a good one.
So I think Condi is confirmed part of GG, I believe.
Oh, okay. So he's
So
now
yeah.
confirmed to move to Goliath Gaming. That's huge. Goliath Gaming, champions of this year's VS Gaming finals. So that's a very good move for him. I'm sure he'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah, GPS4. Them Zenora as well on this team, somebody we know quite well, and the other team is of course Mango Juice. Slick, we saw a couple of times yesterday, subbed for a couple of teams. Typified though by Bandit and Note on the front lines, as you mentioned. So should be a really exciting matchup. I think quite close, just like this one was today. And the winner of that match will go on to face Toxic Crocs in our grand finals. But don't worry, if you're a Poggi Woggi fan, you will be able to see them in action in our third match of the day, which is the third place match, which will decide our bronze medalists. So don't panic. Unfortunately, neither will be able to win or they won't be able to win the competition, but they can still go home with a couple of prizes. So Paragon, that about sums that up.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank
Anything
everyone
more?
for waking up so early to be with us and catching some really good Overwatch. These were some really good games that I really enjoyed watching. So we can expect more of that at 12 p.m. and I hope that you will all join us for that as well. Go wake up your
Yeah,
family.
I've already done that.